Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am one of those Scotts. I am Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
And together, we make up Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. It's good to be here on a Monday. As always, we've got a lot to get to. We've got college football, NFL to discuss. Real quick, Scott, how was your weekend?
From a betting perspective, awful. From a personal perspective, not bad. Got to watch sports all the entire weekend, but no, betting was a mess, just from start to finish. Lost in basketball, lost in football. College wasn't great. Oklahoma drive props, not pretty. I'm just going to say that right now. That was an absolute disaster zone for me. But
you have punt every drive at plus 310.
I should have. Instead, no, I was trying to take touchdowns at plus 120, which none of those worked out. But yeah, not exactly a fun time. But, you know, it happens in gambling. You got to take some on the chin, and we'll bounce back for the upcoming week.
Yeah.
How was yours?
Horrific. I had a horrific Saturday. It was weird. I went 3-0 on my free plays. I went 1-4 because I threw in an extra bonus play on the premium side.
A bonus loser or a bonus winner?
A bonus loser, dude. It was horrific. One of my worst college days as a professional handicapper of all time. I had just a couple of serious letdowns. Had the Cincinnati game. You know what? It was just I'm not gonna rehash it. We rallied a little bit in the NFL. We split on the free pick and went 2-1 on the premium side. Had a teaser that didn't get there because of Baltimore. Hey, that Cincinnati team might be for real. What do you think?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
You know, that's the thing we talked about. The defense had looked good, but they hadn't been against any competition. So it was kind of a question mark. We just kind of assumed they were going to revert to form against a good offense, and that wasn't what happened at all. So, you know what? We got a lot to get to. Let's get her fired up, buddy. Let's find out. First of all, who's joined us here today? I want to take a look before we get rolling.
I saw some comments, by the way, when we were starting. The show starts every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Yep. Same time every day.
Okay. Oh, they say we started different? Yeah.
Some people weren't sure when we were starting. It's 3 p.m. Eastern time every weekday.
I agree. Hey, it's good to see Ninja here and Juan Sandoval, Virgie Etienne, Brendan Tracy, Michael B. Nathan Cerna has the great question. I explain how the Rice Owls beat the crap out of UAB. No idea. That was one of my premium picks that I had. Loved UAB in that spot. Rice had done nothing. They'd been shut out 2 of their last 4 games. Went out and beat them outright as a almost a 30-point underdog. Just brutal performance.
On the bright side about college, at least we faded Presbyterian.
Faded Presbyterian. That's right, guys. That's the tip. If you learn nothing else from this show, you will hear no other place. Scott, have you heard that? Have you heard that trend anywhere else?
No, just us every single week.
Right here, every single week, fade Presbyterian, and it has paid off. How many times, Scott?
Every time.
Every time. That's right.
Gave up 69 last week. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're getting better because they gave up 70 the night before, or the week before.
They improved by 1 potential extra point, but no, they actually gave up a safety in there, so it was 67, 69 with the safety.
Yep, absolutely. Bien Trabajo is here. Michelle Juarez is here. On fire, making that money. Good to see him, and good to see somebody doing that, Michelle. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's find out who took it in the shorts. There's good news and the bad news. There's winners. There's whiners. Who's calling the cops, man? All right, let's get this bad boy fired up here. Taking a look first in the ranks of college football. If you had Tennessee plus 25.5 against mighty Alabama, man, you were cruising.
I mean, we both had Bama by 1.5 billion, right?
Yeah, and Tennessee actually got out to a lead. They trailed by just 7 entering the 4th quarter. Bama put the pedal to the metal there, brother. They outscored Tennessee 28-7 in the 4th quarter, and they ended up winning that one and covering the number. If you had Tennessee plus 10.5, oh, sorry, Charlie, call the cops.
And looking at the second one in college football, if you had Buffalo and Akron over 57.5. First of all, I respect you. I respect you for, digging deep there, trying to find some value on a total in the MAC. But you ended up having 55 points.
Wait. I have to point out. Do you see the graphics?
I saw it.
Did you see our cool graphics?
I saw it. We're evolving here.
Dude, it's only going to get better too. I hope everybody is digging the graphics because it's only going to get better. And anyway, so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to point out a milestone in our show.
All good. So if Buffalo Akron, if you had the over 57.5, you had 55 points with 6 minutes left.
Oh, you're
in the third quarter.
You're locked. Come on.
Game ended 55.
Oh my God, really?
You had no points in the final 21 minutes.
Buffalo. I'm surprised I didn't have that game because Buffalo finds a new and interesting way every single week to just kind of, right there.
Well, that's why I was going to consider taking it. And then Buffalo traumatized me twice already. So I immediately had that thought in the back of my mind, can't do it. And they were up 45-10 before you could blink.
I backed them twice and they fucked me. I faded them once, they fucked me, and I've taken them on a total. They fucked me. They are dead to me. That team is dead to me. Yeah, the 49ers first half money line against the Colts. You're in great shape. You had a 5-point lead. You had the ball with 3:20 left. By the way, raining. It's the Northwest. Figure there's going to be some rain, and there was, especially in October. 49ers. Punch that ball out, buddy. The Colts, they recovered. Scored that touchdown with a minute left. By the way, it was third down. It was a nice job there as the Colts got the touchdown and the 49ers end up trailing by 1 at halftime. If you had 49ers on the money line, oh, man. Sorry, man. Thought you had it. Call the cops.
Especially with the rain starting, neither team could move the ball more than about 40 yards. So if you're punting, that's basically the half. Colts are not going 70 yards in about 2 minutes in that way.
No, by the way, I want to know what you think, Scott. Brandon Kubas says UFC early locks, Volkov and Murphy. You like that? Line movement's already started.
Volkov I like. I haven't really done enough digging with the UFC card. I'm looking forward to doing that. I usually wait until about Wednesday before I start looking at line moves, etc. But Volkov, I do think is a solid fighter. I think he'll find a way to get the job done there. But
very good. We're being semi-roasted, by the way, for our face melting graphic. So
okay,
go ahead.
My face is still here. I don't know about the audience.
We're good.
And looking at the last one, if you had the Bears and Buccaneers over 47, first of all, why would you ever have that? I know both of us had the under in that one, but you had 38 points at the half, and you had a nice 3 in the second half. So the game ended up going under 47 because both teams decided just, scoring points, overrated for the final 30 minutes.
Yeah, not really that deal. That was, would they score 6 in the second half?
They scored 3.
Just 3. I thought it was 35-0 at halftime. Was it 35-3?
I thought it was 35-3.
Maybe it was. Maybe the Bears got their field goal in the first half. I couldn't remember. I was so pissed at that game because, like I said, we had the under, and you see, and they put up 21 in the first quarter. You're just like, we're screwed. Brady and them are doing it.
Yeah, it was 35-3 at the half.
So yeah, 3 points in the second half. Okay, we'll do the opposite, Scott. Let's find out who had those nice easy victories, man. Who was sitting in the rocking chair.
So for the first one, we have the Titans plus 4.5 against the Chiefs, or the money line, reverse -17 line, reverse -20 line, whatever you really wanted. They led 27-0 at the half, and they won 27-3. You want to do the honors talking about your team?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, my team was very good to me yesterday because I just pounded Tennessee. I think I got four or five separate plays on that game, each one bigger than the last as the number just kept sliding. I like Tennessee. I like Tennessee to win that game outright. I called that to win that game outright on Friday, but I didn't know that the Chiefs, not only did they not get off the bus, I don't even think the bus came in from the airport. That was just a horrific performance. One of the worst I've seen by that team. Certainly the worst in the Mahomes era, probably the worst in the Reed era, and maybe the worst in the last 10 years. Yeah,
it's one thing if the defense is gonna suck because we know that already.
Right.
The offense didn't score a touchdown.
No,
really.
No,
it's not like Tennessee's defense is a world beater or anything like that.
Yeah. No, that was the defense is dreadful.
Correct.
It's just horrific, and those people in Nashville, they're going to be walking around with a semi all week long because they beat Buffalo and Kansas City back to back weeks. God
Mhm.
damn! Congratulations, there's a new king in town. So let's talk about who else did well. If you had the Patriots Jets over 42.5, man, that was a ballsy play right there because you figure only one team's going to score. That's all you needed because the Patriots put up 38 points in the first half. New England finished with 54, Scott. 54. A game landed 67. If you had over 42.5, why were you sweating it? You had no worries at all.
And looking at the third one in college, this was probably the funniest rocking chair, arguably, of all time. If you had Illinois and Penn State under 46.5, you had 20 points after 4 quarters. The problem was they were tied at 10-10. So you are just hoping that overtime ends, and, well, it didn't end. It went to 9 overtimes, but the game still landed 38 after 9 overtimes. That is easily a rocking chair Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That is first ballot. I don't know if you'll ever see something like that for the foreseeable future.
And we could have put it on the Call the Cops as a Hall of Famer as well. But
well, they changed the rules, so that's why it wasn't as bad.
Right, that's
as
why it
would've
wasn't
been in
quite
previous years.
Oh man, can we just take a minute to rant about the ridiculous rules? Why did they fix the best overtime system in sports, Scott? What in the world?
They turned it into a hockey style shootout with 2-point conversions after the second overtime. It used to be the third, then they ended up reverting it back, but I was a huge fan of just seeing endless overtimes from the 25. And if you want to find a middle ground, if you think that's going to take too long, first and goal at the 10. Give them 4 downs. What is this makeshift 2-point conversion nonsense that we're doing to throw in games? Because Penn State, you can make an argument, was competing for a playoff spot, not realistically, but just based on rankings. You're telling me they got eliminated because of a 2-point conversion match system?
Ridiculous.
I think it's really, really stupid. But
Nathan Cerna talking about the Baltimore game as well, calls them on the teaser just like it did us. Yeah, that was I don't know, that Ravens team just didn't show up, Scott, or is Cincinnati that good?
Well, they showed up for the first half, but then Chase got loose for that 80-something yarder, and the game was kind of over after that. But Cincinnati's defense, solid.
Yeah,
solid
very good.
unit.
Hey, if you had Kansas plus 38.5, maybe you're at the game, Scott. They opened up the gates. They opened up the gates for free, like Woodstock. They said, hey, we need people here. Come to KU and see the football game. And apparently it worked, Scott, because Kansas led at halftime as a 38.5-point underdog. They were up 10-0 at halftime against the mighty Oklahoma.
Your team total was 52.5. How do you not score for an entire half?
You 52.5 and you got 0 at halftime. You might be in trouble on that bet. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They ended up losing by 12 as KU kind of it was the most KU way to lose ever, Scott, as they had a 4th and about 1. They'd stopped them. Of course, the quarterback yanks the ball out of the running back's hands and stumbles forward for the first down. It was
one of the smartest plays I've ever seen in college football.
It was the most,
arguably football in general. That's a tremendous all-time play.
The most KU way to lose ever.
No, I don't think they might not have won anyway. They would have gotten the ball at midfield needing a touchdown anyway, but that game really put it out of reach.
Although Oklahoma hadn't been able to stop.
Yeah, that is true.
All right, very good. So we're going to talk about this, and we kind of wondered how to couch this because it's a very it's a sad and funny story, Scott. And
it's a dream scenario that went horribly wrong due to some, let's just say, questionable negotiating skills.
Yep, let's find out who it is, and we can actually spread this around. But we're going to find out who's wearing the golden feed bag today, who's strapping it on for Monday, as we reveal this donkey of the day. All right, there's the full donkey to kick off the week. Scott, get us started.
So, going back to the Tampa Bay and Chicago game, you might have noticed Brady made a bit of history. In fact, he's the only one to ever do it. He ended up breaking the 600 touchdown pass barrier, which is insane if you think about it. But the point is, Brady made history, and Mike Evans, catching the touchdown by force of habit, gave the ball to a fan in the first row. Now, the fan was immediately confronted by a member of the Buccaneers, either stadium staff or the team staff, and they basically said, listen, that ball you just got, it's kind of historic. We're going to need that back. And the fan said, yeah, you know what? Sure, I'll do it. And he was apparently given a game ball, a separate game ball, a home and away jersey, and a $1,000 gift card to the team store. So you got 3 to 4 items. Not a bad day. However, according to Ken Golden, who is the founder and executive chairman of Golden Auctions,
Love his work.
that ball,
Love his work.
yes, huge fan of his work. Never heard of him. Anyway, that ball was allegedly worth $500,000 minimum. And he gave it away for 2 jerseys, a game ball, and a $1,000 credit at the team store. Is that one of the worst negotiating deals of all time?
It wasn't even $1,000 cash. That's what, because you right before we went to air, you went, wait a minute, I've got an update on this story.
I didn't know it was even 1,000. I just knew game ball and jerseys, and then I found out about the gift card.
And it was a gift card. A fucking gift card. No. Do you think shame Twitter will pound them into submission and the Patriots will up their offer here
the Buccaneers, but yeah.
The Buccaneers and or TB12.
The thing is, how much do you bump it up before it's justified? Because they're not going to give him $500,000.
How about season tickets for life?
Okay.
How's that? 2 season tickets for life.
Or at least until Brady retires, so you got about 30 years of front row seats, But when it comes to getting the ball, it's a simple situation where they're asking you, can we get it back? And the answer is, if you have a business card, you give it to them. If not, you give your contact information and say, have your people call my people. Yep. And you walk out of the stadium in the first quarter. You guard the ball with both hands, ball security, all the way to the parking lot, get in the car, maybe stop off at a store, buy some bubble wrap or something, wrap the hell out of it, buy a lockbox, put it in there, and then have them call you. But there's a 0% chance I am giving that ball away before leaving the stadium. Yep. 0% chance.
Yep, absolutely. Browns backer said they wouldn't have got that ball back from me. Yeah, no kidding. I'm telling you that the Colts wouldn't have been able to punch that fucker out.
There would have been
high and tight, baby.
There would have been at some point a Godfather offer where I can't refuse. Sure. It would have to be at least north of, I would say, 750. You?
Yeah, if it's legitimately being appraised by a legitimate auction house as $500,000, I'm gonna need half of that. I'm gonna need 250. 250.
I would start my bartering at around 1.5 and work downward.
How about a decent proposal with Giselle?
Yeah, she's I mean, you can throw that in as a perk. I'll take the money, but as long as it's cash, so it might not be traceable. But the point is, it reminded me of like Coming to America, where the person Semi goes to the bank and he's about to ask the king for a loan. And he's like, can I get $500,000? And the person behind the counter says, you know what? Why not go for $1 million? I feel like that would be my approach for this. Just ask for whatever you think and see what you can get away with.
Yeah, very good. All right, let's talk real quick here. We're gonna rip through these next one. Scott, there was some disappointment. There was some anger out there. Let's find out where there was a mix. And I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. All right, so we've talked about the Jets and we've talked about their incompetence, but they may have set a new bar losing to the Patriots the way they did. And it's not just the fact they lost to the Patriots and stopped, but Scott, they were coming off a bye week. They lost by 41 to the Patriots. They let the Patriots put up $500,000, 54 points. That's your team, buddy. Anything you want to say about that in their defense?
I'm looking forward to this tank. If Seattle loses tonight, 2 potential top 10 picks. It's not the Eagles with 3 potential top 10 picks, but I'll take the 2. And shout out to Carolina for giving 2 draft picks for Sam Darnold. Really appreciate it.
Beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. There were some drunken odds makers out there, some lines that didn't make any sense. Let's find out where they were. The odds makers were drunk. So, we've been playing this Army team quite a bit. We've played them to cover. We've played them on the over. They've been good to us. Laid off this week. I wasn't sure about that Wake defense and how the offense would work against the Army. That turned out to be really stupid, Scott, because the total in that game was 52.5. And I don't know when you might have realized you could be in trouble as far as the total goes, probably with about 2 minutes gone, because by halftime, Scott, they were at 49. And there was no Tampa Bay miracle 3 points in the second half. They ended up landing 126.
They had 42 points in the fourth quarter alone.
As one of the most incredible stats you're ever going to see, Scott, Wake Forest scored 70 points. You know how long they possessed the football? Did you see this?
19 minutes?
17 minutes.
Okay.
17 minutes to score 70 points on the Army defense. Holy shit. I hope our regular Army defense is better than that. Otherwise, they're going to overrun the West Coast in about 35 minutes.
Is it a good sign for an over if each team individually goes over the full game total?
Yes, that's a good sign for an over. It's a good sign you've made a good bet. So, all right, my friend. Well, before we get rocking and rolling, I don't know. We were going to do freak out or chill out. We're kind of running out of time a little bit.
It's all good. Our main takeaway, Cincinnati's good. Matt Nagy should be fired, but now he has COVID, so I'm not sure if he's going to buy himself another week with that. But the Bears are terrible, and your Chiefs are not very good.
Yeah,
that's kind of the main takeaways we had.
Yeah, that's the thing. You put the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs, and that was my call. There's just something missing with this team. I don't know what it is. It's almost identical personnel.
By the way, I can't believe that, with all the tax money and stuff, the U.S. citizens are paying so much money for the defense budget, and Army gave up 70 points in 17 minutes of possession.
Where's my
really
tax?
Can't work on a coordinator. Where's my tax money going? Come on, man.
I feel, every time one of the service academies screws me, I feel that way. Like, that's what my fucking tax dollars are going for. You guys can't even cover. Come on.
I trust us against foreign nations when we can't stop Wake Forest from scoring 70 points in 17 minutes.
How are you going to take on China if you can't even beat Wake Forest?
Mm-hmm. Couldn't even cover either.
And apologies in advance to every one of our fine members of the service. Both
the joke is sitting right there, man. I mean,
we sometimes, even though we know we should, we still can't help ourselves. So we're usually going to go for the joke. We almost never mean to offend anybody, and we certainly don't mean to offend anybody.
I think the people of the Army, thank you for your service, were more offended by the actual performance itself.
That could be very good.
Imagine watching that overseas in like Dubai or something, like 3 a.m. You're watching Army Wake Forest, and you're running the ball every play. You can't be stopped. And Wake Forest goes 80 yards in 2 plays for about the entire 4 quarters.
Yeah,
that's
no
brutal.
kidding. Ninja 13's small understatement said Mahomes is a disappointment. Yeah, and we're not quite paying him $40 million yet. That's going to be next year. But yeah, he's a bit of a disappointment this season. And we don't know. There's a lot of rampant speculation about why the team hasn't been the same since Brett Reed's car wreck. Haven't been the same since the Super Bowl. Haven't been the same since Mahomes had a kid. To pick your conspiracy theory about why the Chiefs' demise is happening. But yeah, we don't. The Army and Wake Forest game, Browns backer. Wake Forest ended up winning 70-56. So
good times.
Good times indeed. So Scott, you said that you have not been doing well with the NBA. I've taken my first foray into the NBA tonight with one of my premium plays. So with that being said, since you're doing terribly and I really haven't done much yet, let's take a look at tonight's NBA card, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, speaking of psycho teams, can I interest you in the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers?
Well, the Bucks, I'm not going to call a full psycho team because they have been nowhere near full strength for pretty much the entire season. and Drew Holiday is most likely not going to play again. Bobby Porter's questionable. Lopez is out. DiVincenzo's out. They're missing a lot of guys.
Right.
Now, Indiana has been a team that has lost 2 games by exactly 1 point. So they're losing by the bare minimum, and they beat Miami in overtime in their one win, which was a game I had Miami in. Fun times. But anyway, I'm looking at Milwaukee. Am I thrilled with this? No. But I do think 3's a bit low. As long as Giannis is playing, Indiana can't guard him. Indiana's defense not very good. And I do think that Milwaukee has enough firepower and enough depth to beat this Indiana team. Because I saw this Indiana team give up a bunch of points to Washington and Charlotte. And both of those teams were missing their best player or best scorer,
Right.
at least in those games. Milwaukee, I know, can clamp down defensively when they need to. I'm not going to overreact to Miami having the ultimate revenge home opener after getting swept by them in the playoffs. I think Milwaukee comes out and wins this game. You?
Yeah, I think, I don't know that Milwaukee is full psycho because they've had 2 nice wins. Really nice win over Brooklyn and, of course, San Antonio.
They had the one letdown no-show against Miami, but
it was 42 points. So, it
was bad. It was bad.
It's bad. But I think the one thing we can count on here is that Indiana defense to probably struggle and give up 125 to Milwaukee,
give or take. Yeah.
So I'm more of a fan of the over than I am as far as the side goes. If I had to play a side with the spread the way it is, it's Milwaukee. I've got it at -2. I don't know if you have a better number on that.
I see around 2 or 3.
Yeah. I if I'm playing, I'm laying right there.
Yeah, I agree. Am I thrilled with playing? Not necessarily, but I do think that line seems a bit low. One of the plays I'm most interested in is actually involving my favorite team, the Nets, taking on
by
the
the way,
Wizards.
for just a small update, Michael B says DiVincenzo and Lopez are out, but think Holiday is going to be playing.
So Holiday is still up in the air. I mentioned the first 2 people being out, but
hey, how do you pronounce Holiday's first name?
Drew?
Drew?
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
I know it's spelled Jrue,
Yeah.
but I pronounce it like the Drew Carey show.
Yeah, we need to talk about that sometime. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. Anyway, so looking at the Nets and Wizards, the Nets are favored by about 7.5, 8, depending where you shop around. I don't understand this line at all, and I don't think it makes any sense. I know that you might be pricing in the fact that Beal might not play, but Beal didn't play against the Pacers either, and Washington still won. The Nets played yesterday, lost really bad fourth quarter performance against the Hornets. But if you've been looking at the Nets, James Harden with this new referee swallowing the whistle theory, because if you notice, there's significantly less free throws than there were in the past couple of years. Harden's been awful.
Yeah.
I mean, when so many points that you score are from the foul line and you're averaging about 3 free throws a game instead of about 13, you're going to look a lot worse. I know Durant's a lunatic. He's going to do whatever he wants. But the rest of the team without Kyrie and the fact that Harden has looked awful with the new officiating, I really have no idea how the Nets on a back-to-back are favored by 7.5. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'll take the Wizards.
No, I'm with you. That's the Nets and a much smaller sample size, but so far they kind of remind me of the Chiefs, a team that a lot of great things was expected from, and
I think the money line in the Wizards has some merit.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Hang on, I've got all my football odds up. So what do you have you got a money line on that handy?
Not fully handy, but like give me 20 seconds.
Okay. I'm gonna guess it's in the 220, 230 range.
I have 210.
Okay, there you go.
Give or take. So shopping around, you'll probably find a 230 or so. Durant's gonna play, so I'm not worried about that or anything like that. But I kind of am if you like the Wizards, but Harden really has struggled. And you're looking at the overall team after the back-to-back angle. Wizards had the day off on Sunday. I think it's a nice spot for Washington to at least keep it close. The Nets aren't exactly a team that gets many stops, so I do think you'll see it be close throughout. Will the Nets win the game? Maybe, but I do think that 6.5, 7.5 is a little bit too much for them to actually cover.
Okay, and I don't. Michael B asking about he's like the over 229. I don't hate it. I don't know that I have that much confidence in the Nets to do their part.
Well, the back-to-back angle hurts, especially since you're looking at a team that might struggle a bit to run the floor in the fourth quarter in the second half, mostly because of the first back-to-back of the season. But if Harden's going to have the ball that much and he's not going to put up his usual 25 or 30,
Yeah.
I can't take an over in a Nets game.
Yeah, that's my problem as well. Brendan Tracy wants to know, and it's a play that we were talking about before the show about Winston rushing yards over. Seems to be a popular prop. You like the Geno Smith over 14.5, over 14 better?
Well, just asking, are they going to actually call designed runs for either quarterback, or do you think it's just going to be pure scramble?
To me,
I don't know how you're going to call design runs for Winston unless it's going to be a QB sneak of some kind.
I don't think without Taysom Hill as a backup available for this game, I don't see many design plays for Winston. I think if you're going to play a prop there, I think Geno Smith is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I think Smith is more likely to happen because even with that, let's just say, questionable quarterback talent as a whole, he's mobile. He can run. And if you think New Orleans can generate a pass rush, which they should, Smith might be running for his life half the time. So I do think that he has a better chance of going over than Winston.
Yeah.
Winston's a guy who I think is more mobile than people think. But as you mentioned with Hill being out, they really don't have a backup quarterback option. So I don't see them trying to send Winston out to get killed out there. However, I do think he could scramble a couple of times for some yards. But remember, if the Saints are winning, he might lose 2-3 yards on those kneel downs at the end.
Yeah, and that's a brutal way
to lose, but it's happened before.
Oh yeah, it absolutely has. No, I'm just saying, as a way to take a beat, that's one of the worst ones.
Yep.
You know, this is a New Orleans team that hasn't done a great job of getting after the quarterback yet, but I think
they have the personnel though to do so.
You do, and you also have a Seattle team that has tended to, how you say, maybe give up a few sacks during the. They gave up 4 to Pittsburgh last week. Now, I'm not saying that obviously New Orleans has the kind of unit that Pittsburgh has, but they're a team that I'm just trying to pull it up here. Yeah, they give up 3 sacks a game, and that's 26th in the NFL. So I think, despite the fact they haven't got home a lot yet, I think New Orleans is going to have some success getting after the quarterback. So that could lead to some Geno Smith rushing yards. Agreed.
Well, Seattle's offensive line's been a mess for the past decade, so that wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah. It's 2 things. Terrible line play, Scott, on both sides of the ball, really, with Seattle Seahawks, at least for the last half a decade for sure. So
yep.
I'll tell you what. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Denver team, because they played very good ball. They've got a big number against the Cavs tonight at home. Looking at 9.5, they're 20. 220 is the total for most part. What do you got there?
I'm looking at Cleveland plus the points. I just think that Denver is the better team. Duh. That's why they're favored by 12. But this Cleveland team actually has some talent. Are they going to make the playoffs? No. But Evan Mobley, he's actually looked pretty good. I think that he's got talent. I think that he could be a matchup problem. Sexton's been good. Garland, I don't know if he's going to play or not. They've been using Rubio as a starter because Garland's been out. I do think Cleveland has some talent, though. And Denver, I do think, is a good team. They also let the Spurs hang around a little bit in their first game of the season. I think that the spread does seem a little bit too high. Cleveland is a team that will struggle throughout the year, but they do have some talent, and they do have the ability to at least sneak up on a team or two. And we saw last year Denver got snuck up upon a lot against teams they should have easily beaten. When you're beating San Antonio by 6, I do have some question marks if you're looking ahead to other matchups. I think Cleveland might sneak through the back door in this one.
All right, very good. All right, my friend. Well, it's that time as you and I have put our heads together. Well, you know what? You're going to talk about the game a little bit tonight as far as the football
we
game?
can. Spoiler alert, we got a prop, so we can talk about the actual game.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That is okay. So we do have a prop from that. So let's do it. Let's just get right into it as we have going to reveal our favorite play of the day. We put our heads together, come up with the one. If you had to put all your chips in the middle, this would be the play, guys. Put on those overalls, grab that straw hat, climb on your John Deere, guys. It's time once again for Bet the Farm. All right, so we do have a game tonight from rainy Seattle. By the way, Scott, we did take it in the shorts in our last Bet the Farm play from Friday. We had the over in the Houston and Boston game. It did not go well as Lopez dominated and 6 innings of hitless ball. So anyway, so tonight Seattle, they are at home. And New Orleans Saints come to town. Team used to playing in the dome. Terrible weather. Going to be raining, windy. Where are you coming down on this one?
I'm looking at New Orleans because even though people think of the Superdome as being the place to be when it comes to the Saints winning games, they're phenomenal on the road, and they have been with Sean Payton for several years. This team is usually dialed in, and Seattle, of course, being known as one of the best home field advantages, the 12th man, everything like that. They are 0-2 at home this season, and maybe it's just me. They're less intimidating at home when Russell Wilson's not at center. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no question about it. And they're a team that really hasn't been fantastic at home. They're certainly not quite as good at home as their reputation, much like the Chiefs. So I have to agree with you. I think I just think Seattle's missing a ton of pieces here. As far as the total goes, it's hard for me to get involved with the.
I can't take the over with the weather involved. I can't.
See, that's the thing. You can't take it. You're kind of screwed because you can't take an under with this Seattle defense, and you can't take an over because of the horrible weather. I'm
looking at a team total for Seattle for the under.
Yeah,
but once again, if you did not know that, it's not going to be monsoon weather like it was for the Colts 49ers game. It's not pretty for this game. So if you're looking for high scoring, entertaining football, try a video game or something because this is not going to be the game for you.
And the wind is going to be coming directly out of the south, which that stadium sits dead north-south. So half the time they're going to be going right into the wind. Field goals are going to be difficult. They're going to cut down on the distance. The other half, they're going to get a boost.
But because of the weather, that's going to segue us into our favorite play on the actual game. I believe it's your day.
It is. We're going to take Jameis Winston over a half as far as the interception props. This is available at -110 on DraftKings. We think famous Jameis is, even though he's done a better job of taking care of the ball this year, we think there could be a little regression to the mean coming with the bad weather. And Seattle, they're allowing 292.3 passing yards per game. That's 27th in the league. So you know that New Orleans is going to be tempted to throw the ball despite the bad weather. Jameis, he wants to throw that ball down the field, man.
You know they're going to take at least one shot to Callaway at some point during this game.
You know they are. And if you're wondering, it's like, hasn't Jameis Winston thrown a lot of interceptions in his career? Yes, he has. He has thrown 91 interceptions in 81 games. Scott, just for value right there, you got to make the play. You're getting an overlay at -110. Plus, the cherry on top is the weather. Not going to be good. It's going to rain all day. It's going to lighten up a little bit during the game, but still 60-mile-an-hour winds, gusts up to 25. By the way, if you're up in the Seattle area, Legion of Picks, you know this, it's a small craft warning. So be careful if you got your small craft out there. But anyway, that's going to be our play. Jameis Winston, he's going to throw a pick. Get yourself down on it. And if you have to, bet the farm.
Well, some people are thinking, maybe you'll see a lot of short passes because of the weather.
Yep.
That's fine because if Winston has a hard time gripping the ball, he might overthrow a receiver or two. And we're not exactly sure, just because it hits the receiver in the hands doesn't mean they're going to catch it in the rain, which is what we saw a lot from the game yesterday.
Yep.
You just need 1 or 2 bounces, but I do think Winston at some point, he's going to make a stupid throw. At some point during this game, -110 for a guy who we know is being one of the most turnover-prone quarterbacks of all time, I do think has merit. And speaking of which, by the way, how about that bad beat on the Carson Wentz interception overturned to a fumble about 2 hours later?
We were going to put that on the list, but we just had too many. But, oh, yeah, that was one of the most brutal ones of all time. If anybody had that bet, I want to know if they took your money back out of your account.
If you had Carson Wentz over half an interception in the game last night, he threw one in the red zone about the second quarter, and then it was announced halfway through the third quarter, about an hour and change later, that the official scoring overruled it to a fumble. So you thought you won for about 90 minutes, and then not only did you have your money taken away that you won, you had the money taken away that you bet. So definitely a swing there for, I'm sure, a couple of people.
Yep. Yep. That was absolutely brutal. So, all right, guys, as always, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the comments. Love interacting. Love the new format. We're also going to have some video going here pretty quick. So you guys stay tuned. The graphics are going to get even cooler. So thanks for those that have been with us for the entire journey. You guys have a great day. For me and for Scott, thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's it. We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow on Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.